If I asked you, what was the most significant event in world history? You might say man walking on the moon, or the invention of the iPhone, or the release of the first Star Wars movie. But with all due respect to Neil Armstrong and Steve Jobs and Chewbacca, none of those answers is correct. Because the most important, epic event in history was when the Jews received the Torah from God himself at Mount Sinai. No other religion makes that audacious a boast. Other religions typically begin with one person having a dream or a vision or making a discovery. But the Jews say no. 3 million of our ancestors, men, women, and children, stood there and watched the miracles as God gave us the Torah at Har Sinai. And 3 times a week during the morning services, on Mondays and Thursdays and Shabbos, we read that same Torah as part of the service. If you've seen it, you know what it looks like. The Baal Koreh, the person who's reading, stands in front of the Torah. Next to him is the fellow who's getting that aliyah. And on the side is the Gabbai who calls each person up for an aliyah. And on the other side is the Gabbai Sheni, the second Gabbai. He doesn't have a speaking role. He's just there to help out a little bit, maybe cover the Torah when necessary or show the place to the fellow who had the prior aliyah. I kind of like taking that role whenever it's available. Low risk, high reward. About 10 years ago, I was in shul and I got the Gabbai Sheni position. And after services, I turned to my 2 oldest sons who were with me. At the time, they were teenagers. And I said, "Hey guys, what did you think of me as the Gabbai Sheni?" So they looked at each other and they laughed. And then one of them said to me, "Oh, you mean when you were standing up next to the Torah like a doofus, doing nothing?" So right away, we had a new nickname for the Gabbai Sheni in my house, Gabbai Doofus. Or as we later shortened it, Gabbai D. So now whenever I get that role, if I'm with one of my sons in shul after services, I'll say, "Hey, what'd you think of my D?" Or, "Did you see me D it up?" Now my boys can laugh all they want, but Gabbai D is actually a really big deal. He's not up there just to help out a little bit. He's up there to help recreate the experience of us receiving the Torah. That's the reason why we have those people surrounding the bima, the podium, while the Torah is being read. To recall for us the events of when 3 million of our ancestors surrounded the mountain when God gave us the Torah. And during the week, on those in-between days, in between the Mondays and Thursdays and Shabbos, we're also preparing to receive the Torah when we study it and when we observe its commandments, just as our ancestors prepared. When God told them for the 3 days before receiving the Torah to separate from their spouses and to wash their clothing. They didn't need to wash their clothes. For 40 years, the miraculous cloud washed their clothes for them. But God said, wash your clothes so that they'd have an activity to do to prepare to receive the Torah. And we remind ourselves that the Torah was given to us, to the common folk. It wasn't given to the patriarchs and the matriarchs. If it was, we might say, "Oh, that's for them. They're on a lofty level. It's not for us." It was given to all of us, to the plain Janes and to the Toms and the Dicks, and lucky for me, the Harrys, to remind us that all of us have a share in it. And it wasn't given in Israel. Har Sinai was outside Israel. Because if it had been given in Israel, we might think it's only for the Jews. No, God's telling us the non-Jews have a lot to learn, a lot of wisdom in the Torah for them as well. It's no accident that so many converts and descendants of converts played such a crucial role in the transcribing of the oral law. And it was given in a desert, a barren place, to remind us that when it comes time to re-accept the Torah and to observe it, check your ego at the door and make God first.